Hi there, this is Grumpy Opinions. Let's get on with the show. Snowpiercer is a show on Netflix all about the last survivors of a terrible, terrible ice age apocalypse, surviving in a giant long train that runs all the way around the world. But before I get into this week's episode, I'd just like to say apologies. I know things have been running a little slow of late. I'm super busy with real life work and stuff, but everything should go back to normal. In the meantime, these videos will come and go when they can. Sorry about that if you've been waiting on things. It's the best I can do at the moment, and I can only promise I'll try and do better. Episode 207, Our Answer for Anything, flings us back to the point when we were on Snowpiercer 2 episodes ago, just after the Breachman murders. Now, everything's completely topsy-turvy on both sides of the border, with Alex fretting about being out of the loop, and the Australian lassie worrying about the Australian guy, and Leighton and Ruth et al. Panicking about the new set of murders and what to do about this panic and what's going to set off, especially with Discount Katy Perry now completely AWOL on Big Alice and clearly in no hurry to come back. Until ends up finding a clue, a little button, one of the murder scenes, and even though LG starts being an arster, Osweiler still wants to help, and he knows somebody who might know something. But the train's having a bit of a trouble as Big Bosco sees some tailies and starts a proper punch-up, retaliating for his mates who he thinks they killed, and he gets himself locked up, leading Leighton to make a big statement about solidarity and how it wasn't the tail. It really, honestly wasn't the tail, which of course just lights the powder keg amongst the third class who think it was the tail and think he's covering for them because he's a tailie, leading to a full-scale riot starting to build. And while Leighton tries to get everyone to safety, he finds Slaphead Pike all stoned and kind of angry at him, which is understandable after the whole murder thing last time. And meanwhile, Till manages to work out from an old Wolford-loving babushka type that the button is off of a coat that she sold to the rich lady from first class. That one, yep, remember her? She's on The Handmaid's Tale. Yeah, anyway, she admits that she was part of the Wilford murder posse, and she basically all but waves a St. Christopher in Till's face because it was the priest, like I've been saying all season. And Till heads up there and yeah, he just admits it, but before she can beat him up, another baddie attacks her from behind, and she only just manages to beat her off and stop the priest from giving himself fatal brain freeze. Meanwhile, a load of tailies get stuck up train when the riot passes, including wee Winnie, who's totally scared of Ruth because if you remember right back to season 1, Ruth froze her mum's arm off after the big riot. Ruth has to then chase after her and convince her that she's actually really not a bad person and she's learned, and only then realising the error of her ways, which is kind of lucky because Pike gets caught by the lynch mob and they're just about to freeze his arm off and Leighton offers his arm instead and it's a big arm party, and then Ruth arrives and says everyone that wait a minute, this is kind of stupid, and that takes the wind out of everybody's sails.
Meanwhile,
on Big Alice, Wilford wants to test DKP's loyalty to get her to break Kevin, who it turns out isn't actually dead, so she uses all her dominatrix skills to brainwash him into being a loyal wolf dude again, which she does until he's basically a grovelling slave, literally licking his slipper, which is gross. And Wilford is really pleased, and his found fam look out all happily as Snowpiercer does the spiral loop, and they can see all of his supporters have put little red lights in the windows of their carriages. So what did I think? Well, I think it's nice to actually get back on Snowpiercer after last week's interesting diversion with Mel playing Snowland Explorer and sending up the wee balloons. But also, can I just stop for a second to say, this whole season, and then this week especially, has really gone hell for leather with the beautiful snowscapes and amazing production design. Now, sure, it's mostly just CGI, in fact it's pretty much all CGI I would imagine, I don't know if any of it's actually real footage, but it just looks great. They've really gone for this sort of magical outside world thing. And season 1 did have a few moments, but clearly they've gotten all kind of like Heaven's Gate, Magica or Snowy Apocalypse chic. In particular, that really gorgeous loop-de-loop finale with the red candles in the windows. Now, that aspect of the show is just great. I'm really liking it. Leading on from that, I also like this episode managed to find some ways to finally do something with Ruth, even though they've not done it in the best way. The way it was written, but more on that later. But we did at least get the most Ruth line of the show so far.
She's walking the line.
Or she's freshly shagged, bathing in rose water.
Other than that, yeah, we went through some things, some stuff happened, and I do like that stuff is progressing. We're starting to see Wilford's plan falling into action. But really, this kind of was a bit placeholdery of an episode. And on to the bad stuff. As I said, while I'm praising the whole Ruth seeing the light, that was pretty clunky. It was a really clunky bit of storyline, and frankly, her moment of revelation felt kind of false. The original film did this similar sort of moment with, obviously, the character of Mason, who was played by Tilda Swinton, who literally froze people's arm off. And for that, she got shot in the face by Captain America. So, spoilers if you've not watched the film, but we are halfway through season 2. Anyway, The other side of this was the final revelation of who the finger-cutty murder orchestrator was, and it was the priest, as I've been saying since literally episode 2 of this season, because it's been so obvious. But now, he's half freezy-faced and all caught, and I feel like Till has actually done something useful. But it was kind of a flat revelation because, frankly, the clues were there all along, and okay, obviously some of that was just, me saying, well, this is a TV show, they've introduced a new character, and suddenly they do this, that, and the other. But yeah, and I think that's kind of my big issue with this week, which is one of the reasons that it's taken me 3 weeks or more to get this video done, besides just being really, really busy and really tired from this work contract I'm doing at the moment. But this was kind of a bit flat and plodding, and it was a mediocre episode, and mediocres or dull episodes are always the biggest chore to review because you don't know what to say about them, because you don't have a lot to say other than, well, yeah, that happened. And yeah, especially when it takes things like setups like Pike's shaving head anger thing and just has him turn up stoned. I mean, I thought they were going to go somewhere interesting with that, but they kind of didn't. And then him and Leighton solve their antagonism of, no, cut off my arm argument. And yeah, anyway, it was a bit meh, and partly because of that, I wasn't massively impelled to just jump straight into the next episode. So yes, but now that will be fixed. And expect the rest of the season back on the regular. So yeah, again, apologise to everyone who's hoping on weekly videos from me. I'll do my best. I will try and get it back on weekly videos. But yeah, sorry. It's not been good enough. I will do better. So till next time, these have been very late, grumpy opinions on Snowpiercer, Season 2, Episode 7. And a special thanks to all my patrons, and most especially my top tier patrons Judith Coloma, Laurie Laporte, and Michelle Forbes. Thanks guys, everyone keep it real, keep safe, and take care of yourselves. Bye bye.